Hello everyone and welcome again. Today I'm going to walk you through my original reading, writing and grammar lesson plan. I want you to imagine that you are my students sitting here with me as I explain step by step what we are going to learn, how we are going to practice and why this lesson is important for you. This lesson is designed to combine three important skills together: reading, writing, and grammar. Many times, students study grammar alone, or reading alone, or writing alone, but in real communication, these skills are always connected. When we read, we notice grammar in use. When we write, we need grammar to express our ideas correctly. So, in this lesson plan, we bring them together in a meaningful way. Let me first talk about the objectives of the lesson. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to read a short passage, understand the main ideas and details, identify some key grammar structures inside that passage, and then use those grammar structures in their own writing. This creates a cycle. Reading leads to grammar awareness, and grammar awareness leads to better writing. Now, let's break in this lesson into clear stages. At the beginning of the lesson, I will start with a warm-up activity. This warm-up is simple but effective. I might ask students a few questions related to the topic of the reading passage. For example, if the reading is about hobbies, I could ask, "What is your favorite hobby? How often do you practice it?" This stage is important because it activates their background knowledge and makes them curious about the passage and prepares their minds for the lesson. Even though it looks short, this stage is essential. Without a warm-up, students may feel disconnected from the text, so I always spend a few minutes making sure they are ready and interested. After the warm-up, we move to the reading activity. I will provide students with a short passage, maybe 150 to 200 words, depending on their level. The text should be not too long or difficult. The goal is not just to test their reading ability, but to use reading as a tool to learn grammar and improve writing. First, students read silently. Then I might read the passage aloud myself so they can also hear the correct pronunciation and intonation. After that, I will ask a few comprehension questions. These questions can be about the main idea, such as what is the text mainly about, or about details. What did the writer say about his favorite hobby? This activity develops two skills: understanding the content and noticing the grammar is used in real writing. Now comes the grammar stage. In this step, I highlight a grammar structure from the passage. For example, if the passage uses the present simple tense, many times I show students those examples directly from the text. I don't just explain rules in isolation, but I connect them to the passage they have just read. For instance, I can say, "Look at this sentence. She plays the guitar every day." This is an example of the present simple tense. We use it to talk about daily routines and habits. I might underline or repeat several sentences from the text that show the same grammar pattern. Then I explain the rule clearly and simply. After that, I ask students to create 2 or 3 sentences of their own using the same structures. This step is very important because students realize that grammar is not something separate, it is already living inside the reading text. Finally, we move to writing. At this point, students have already read the text, understood the grammar, and practiced it a little. Now it's time for them to use it in their own writing. I will ask them to write a short paragraph, maybe 5 or 6 sentences, using the same grammar structure. If the text was about hobbies and grammar was present simple, I could say, now write a short paragraph about your hobby. Use the present simple tense to describe it. For example, I play football every day. I enjoy it very much because it keeps me healthy. Students write their own paragraphs, and then we share a few examples together. I might read some aloud and give quick feedback. This stage gives students a chance to connect reading, grammar, and writing in one meaningful task. At the end of the lesson, I do a short reflection. I ask students, what did we learn today? How did reading helps us understand grammar? How can grammar helps us write better? This reflection helps them understand the value of the lesson and remember it. I usually close with a positive note, encouraging them to continue practicing at home by reading short texts, noticing grammar, and writing small paragraphs. Now, let me step back and explain why this lesson plan is important. In traditional classrooms, grammar is often taught in isolation, and students memorize rules without really using them. But when we integrate reading and writing, grammar becomes natural. Students don't just know the rule. They see it, they practice it, and they apply it in their own work. Also, this lesson encourages active participation. Students are not just listening to me, they are reading, answering, writing, and reflecting. That's how learning really happens. So, to summarize the flow, warm up helps to activate background knowledge. Reading, understand the text and notice language. Grammar, highlight and practice the structure. Writing, apply the grammar in personal writing. Reflection, connect the skills together. This whole process can be done in one class session, and it helps students build confidence in all three areas, reading, writing, and grammar. And that is my original reading, writing, and grammar lesson plan. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the explanation.